I went viral and that worked. Oh, now I have to keep up the act. I didn't want to do that anymore. I kind of just wanted to genuinely be happy. So when I walk into a room and I'm smiling, it's 1,000% genuine.
If you need proof that dedication and self-reliance are two of the most key components any artist needs for a successful music career, look no further than Russell.
He has a unique perspective on the music industry. He first tasted success as a teenage rapper trying to navigate ambition and high expectations, and has now hit his stride as a singer with last year's R&B album, Dearly Loved, and his new Motherland project.
It wasn't until I traveled outside of Toronto where I was way more proud to be from Toronto. That's why I love Drake so much as a rapper, because he'll go out of his way to mention certain intersections. There's a song he just put out literally last night where he mentions Brampton, and I'm like, finally. I think being from Toronto really aided me within my musical journey. It's so full of culture here.
Russell is here in Click and Tell.
Hey!
What's up, brother? Welcome.
Chilling, man. Thanks for
I
having
know,
me.
you walk in and you have this incredible vibe to you,
Thank
just
you.
this positive energy, and I love it.
Thank you. I was saying before, it's just been a really good, busy week, and I like being busy. That's like my favorite thing in the world. I like
Just going.
Yeah, I got a good balance in my life. On one side, I'm just very, I get a lot of alone time, but I think that alone time fuels a lot of, just having to get to know myself.
Yeah.
I start falling in love with myself enough to want to share myself, to be in public spaces.
How long did it take you to figure out that balance and figure out that alone time can be good and useful?
I think, good question. I mean, I think it was 28. Like when I got to 28, I think 28 was like, I actually owned it. And I was like, my whole life I had been like the less popular kid. So by the time I got to 28, just kind of studying myself and really figuring myself out and being a little older and like getting to the, 30 is in 2 years. I just kind of had to own a lot of things and then really go for loving myself instead of being ashamed of myself for them, flaws and all. And I think when I cracked that, it was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I think it's better for me to go out into the world now more than ever, because like I'm able to love myself and want to share it. Like, I think sharing it is what I'm on now.
Yeah, so that's what you would describe like this phase of your life, just ready to share, like not just your art, but what else?
Who I am.
Yeah.
I think especially just starting out young in the industry, I had a templated, something worked, right? Like I went viral and that worked.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, now I have to keep up the act. But now there's no act. It's just really what I am. So when I walk into a room and I'm smiling, it's 1,000% genuine, because it's actually how I really feel, rather than, okay, you need to be this way. Everybody needs to recognize you as this. So be that at all times. It's like, I didn't want to do that anymore. I kind of just wanted to genuinely be happy.
So you said two things that I found really interesting. You said you're a less popular kid and that you had to put on this act.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I think when it cracked for me, when it all kind of worked out at 17, it was like, oh, I finally have attention, the attention I always wanted.
The popularity part.
Yeah, the popularity part, right? So when I cracked that, it was like, oh, okay, like this is what people like me for, like constantly entertaining them. So this is what I have to do. And then everything was kind of built off that, which growing up more, I was like, oh, I don't like that. Like, I need to really be that. I don't want to do that for an image. I want to do that because that's genuinely me. And it took some time to get to there in order to figure out, like, who am I? Like, what is genuinely me? And when you start hanging out by yourself and having dinners with yourself and listening to music by yourself, like kicking back, smoking a joint to yourself, it's like, and especially being high, it was a lot of self-analyzation. So I just analyzed myself and I was like, oh, okay, this is what I have to change. This is what I have to settle with, because I can't change this in 5 minutes. So let's be okay with it. Let's coexist with it, rather than to, be in a constant war with it, or be in this, okay, avoid this, being avoidant, basically. I wanted to just escape that and own everything.
I guess the energy that you had before you found yourself, like, was it part of your upbringing with your family, or was it more of just losing yourself? Or
Yeah, I would say, like, I mean, I'm a middle child, so there's that. I mean, I think a lot of the focus was kind of
I'm the last one.
Yeah,
me too.
like,
I'm the third child, but yeah.
like kind of just the I guess the dynamic of having an older brother and a little sister is like, I always felt like it was like I was the guinea pig. Like my mom always kind of expressed that to me, like, okay, we just left you out on your own. Like it seemed like you kind of had it all figured out. So I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of just like ventured off on my own a lot. But with that being said, it's like I inherited a lot of qualities that were really different from other kids. I didn't play sports. I wasn't really like a competitive kid. That's another thing I learned in my late 20s. I was like, oh, I'm not competitive.
Yeah.
Like I don't really do that. And I think that aided me in finding myself because I was like, I'm not really trying to be the best anybody. I'm just trying to be the best me.
Right.
And yeah, I think a lot of things were instilled from my for the past of my family. I think I wanted a lot of attention growing up because I didn't get too much because it was like, what can I get attention for? A lot of the Filipino kids I knew growing up were like playing basketball or like playing piano and in the church. And me, I'm just this like hoodlum kid spraying up walls and doing bunny hops on a BMX bike. And, you know, I didn't know which crowd I belonged in because I was cool with white kids. I was cool with black kids. I was cool with like brown kids. I never had a crowd. So again, like just having to deal with being alone all the time, it was like, okay, cool. Like I hang out with all these guys, but I was like a popular like loner, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like not popular in one circle. It was just everybody knew me in different circles, but I never had anywhere I could call like home, if that makes sense.
Wow.
That sounds like the blueprint for an artist.
Yeah.
It sounds like the blueprint for an artist.
For sure,
Frankly.
for sure, and I mean, I think that also trickled on to my artistry as well. Just like kind of being the guy that was a hybrid of so many things.
Right.
But I think that's why people gravitate towards me because it works out in show business. You know, like I'm able to do pop records, and I'm able to feature on rap records, and I'm able to feature on R&B records. So I think it services me really well. But I will say, you know, the downside of that is just not finding familiarity or, you know, like a sense of common ground, like a locked sense of common ground. Like it's always just me all over the place.
And I think we were talking about this earlier about the Filipino community, even the Asian community, having that knit group of people was the culture, right?
Yeah.
And to be alone or to, you know, we're talking about how we're raising our kids. It's very different from the way we were raised, right? So you're looking for that comfort.
Yeah,
Right?
Definitely. But I think the discomfort is what really like, I embrace the discomfort.
Yeah.
And it made me who I am today. So like, I'm just so like, I'm just happy I kind of went the route I did because if I didn't, I don't think I would have became like a really eccentric, fun person. I think like owning it is really the key. I always tell people that, just own it.
Own it.
Just own it.
Own it.
All right, we're gonna start the narration today with your first post on Instagram, and I'm sure you're aware of it, and I'm sure you're ready. But I love this picture.
Yep.
Yeah.
My mom and I at MSG.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden.
How old were you?
You're a baby.
Oh, I could not tell you. I mean, that had to be like 7, 8, probably.
Yeah.
I knew it was before I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Everyone kind of has a relationship with New York, especially if you grew up watching TV and movies. Was the idea of being, I mean, you probably don't have that memory of it from this age, but just generally speaking, was the idea of being in New York something that was special in your household? Something.
I love how you asked this. I mean, I lived on and off in New York for 5 years when I signed my record deal. So from like 17 probably to like 22, I was like kind of on and off, like, you know, making my trips out there. And when I knew how like close it was, I was damn near taking mega buses at a certain point. Cause I'm like, why would I just pay this much for a flight? Let me just sit on this bus for 10 hours and, you know, just like, I'll be home in that sense. And it's funny too, cause like if it's not my own brand, I'm always wearing a Yankee hat. That's like my thing. All my friends know that. And I buy my Yankee hats from Manhattan. That's like another thing that I have. But New York was always this. I mean, what I remember out of that trip is New York just being this big, big, big city. I was like a kid from like basically the hood, just like seeing everything. We were on a family trip to see somebody on my dad's side of the family. I remember just seeing Times Square like,
Yeah.
and they bought me like a little robot dog. It was like funny, like a robot dog toy. And then seeing like, you know, everybody in the costumes, like Elmo, and like, you know what I mean? Like,
My mom's like, stay away from Elmo.
100%. Like, don't go up to that guy. Elmo is smoking a cigarette. That's weird.
A joint. Got all for that.
But New York was always special to me in that sense. And I always told myself, especially when I started doing music, I mean, hip hop started in New York. So falling in love with hip hop, I'm like, I need to go. Like, as corny as it sounds, I need to go to the Mecca. I need to go to the birthplace of this and really feel that essence, as they say. But when I got signed, it was like a manifestation of it. Like, I was like, oh, I finally get to do this. And I just, you know, I of course have negative, traumatic experiences about the music industry, but I try to, you know, be okay with those things and think about the great times I had in New York. And that city really shaped me as a man. And yeah, just being immersed within those street corners, it was like, I walked everywhere. I still walk everywhere, even in Toronto. Like, people catch me on the street, people catch me on the train. They're like, why are you here? I'm like, this is just the Manhattan in me. Like, you know, you see Michael Imperioli on the train, you know what I mean? Like, you see people on the train and you're like, oh, that guy's on TV, you know what I mean? So it's like, just bringing those qualities here, I was like, you know, I'll always be New York.
The New York in him.
That's it. Yeah. All right, man.
So we're gonna pick you can pick whichever you want.
I mean, this one's like within proximity. Oh, wow.
Hey, okay.
perfect,
Speaking of cities
yeah.
that are alive, right?
Me and Pasai. Yeah.
So tell us about, like, what's the context here? What are you doing? Where are you? All of it.
So in this photo, especially, I'm in Pasai City, and we were shooting a music video actually for a song called Rita's Freestyle, off the album. And I mean, my whole concept to it was I just wanted to capture, one, I remember just singing karaoke with my family, and somebody would have a karaoke set. And when they would, you know, you would pick, I don't know, like a Stevie Wonder song. And for some reason, there were just random videos of like a jellyfish or like fish, you know, like those like karaoke things. Like they're like screensavers. It's like so random. It's like, what is this footage, you know? And then you see the words under, like it's karaoke, right? Like, but you're like singing, you're not even really realizing as you're singing Stevie Wonder, you're looking at like an aquarium, you know what I mean, on the TV. So a lot of the concept of the music video is that I just wanted to make screensaver type of things, but I also wanted to show like a spectrum of things that you would see in the Philippines. Going to the streets of Pasay, you know, like we're in there with the people. I was like, I want to get in there with the people, but I want it to be genuine. So I had a homie named Lakika who grew up, like born and raised there. And he brought us around, made sure we were good, but also was just like a really good homie to me. And he was like, yeah, like, let me take you there, like, you know, see the real. And I think that trip really added perspective to like the potential like neighborhood my mom grew up in. You know, I don't have too much history. You know, I didn't have too much given to me about my mom's history. But being in a neighborhood like that and speaking to the people there, I was like, oh, this is like basically from the photos I see of my mom, it's kind of where she grew up. And it's funny because I'd be lying if I said I was like culture shocked in any way. Just because as weird as it sounds, like walking there, I felt like I'd been there before.
Really?
I was like, oh, like, or either that or just some sort of aura of my mom.
Is that because your parents explained their experience in living there, or was it
I have
just
these weird spiritual connections with my mom sometimes,
Yeah.
where I feel like anywhere that I'm at that I'm not unfamiliar with, that maybe she talked to me about before, like she's just kind of with me, holding my hand through it, and yeah, it just felt familiar. I don't know. I guess I have just a perspective on different ways of life. And you know, just being there, I was like, one, just like, okay, I'm definitely a Canadian kid because this is different. But at the same time, I guess like all the kids kind of looking at like me was like a, you know, that kind of helped me, you know, like, oh, this is like a billion little me's, like these kids in the photo, you know, like just gang signed up, like, but
You felt the connection when you
yeah,
were
I
there.
felt connection.
Yeah.
I felt like, I was only there for a limited amount of time, but the sense of community there, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wow. Like,
What did you bring back with you? Like, what changed inside you that you brought back?
Perspective for sure. I mean, just like I told you before, like when I was young, I joined like a Filipino basketball league, and I was never really athletic. I just kind of did it because every other kid was doing it, and I didn't want to feel left out. So I never really had like a dope experience having Filipino friends. Like all my friends were either black or white or brown. I was either hanging out with black kids that love hip hop or white kids that love skating and punk rock or brown kids that equally loved hip hop. So it was like, I never found a common ground with North American Filipino kids. And I guess in a sense, I never felt validated, but being over there, I was like, oh, these are like real Filipinos and they love me, So kind of just being embraced there and being like, oh, wow, like, okay, cool. I like being Filipino. This is it, and kind of embracing it and owning it. Another one of those things where it was just something that I had an unfamiliarity with, that I was like, oh man, like, this is a part of myself I want to embrace more. And just getting older, being like, oh, I finally have the opportunity to do that.
I think that's for all of us. Like our parents came here to give us a better life, and they were talking about assimilation, and you don't really find yourself because you're kind of lost, right? And you're right. When I went back to India, I'm like, these are my people. But yet I've never been there before. But you feel this connection. And I think you do lose and we're trying to figure that out still to this day of finding that identity.
It's so interesting that you are, how much you've thought about that. Because like I have a very, very similar experience. And I don't know if you have experienced, if you've come across this too, but like if I go and speak at something where it's like the Filipino Youth Association of whatever school, let's say, and they'll come up to me and they'll ask me a very specific thing about their life that they're having an issue with, but it's they and their friends all experience it. And I kind of go, I didn't grow up that way. I grew up on an island. I felt like I was on an island growing up. And so if it wasn't the 4 people in my house that I was connected to culturally, I didn't have it. And so you end up creating for yourself like who you are in relation to what your heritage is, based on maybe for you the stories your mom told you, pictures you saw.
I never especially just being that kid in that basketball league, never felt Filipino enough. I think a lot of those kids too had like very well off parents, so I guess my view is kind of skewed. Where it was like, I just thought that was being Filipino, like very snobby, very, you know what I mean? Like just kind of meeting rich kids that were like that. But then growing up, meeting kids that were like me, like I was like, oh, and then being over there and meeting people over there that lived in neighborhoods that were way more, you know what I mean? Like it gives you humility, and you're you get this sense of like, oh, okay, this isn't how everybody is. Like, this isn't how every kid is that looks like me. There are people that grow up with not too much, but being over there, it was like they had everything. And that's, I think, what I had in common with them. Like, my mom always instilled that in me. She always gave me this, like, super gem that she was like, we don't have anything, but I'll give you everything. That's what my mom always told me. Like, I don't have everything, but I'll give you, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have anything, but I'll give you everything. Like, she just went above and beyond. And I think like that was one thing I took from the Philippines, like that perspective on like, you should be thankful, but like anything anybody can give you, you go to somebody's spot, if all they're able to give you is a glass of water to accommodate you, like be thankful for that because they're actually trying, you know what I mean? So that's something that I took with me. Oh, let's go.
Blessed,
Let's go.
Oh, hell yeah. Me at the mom. Oh, Axis Club. Sorry. Yes, me at the Axis Club.
You're so cute.
Dearly Love Tour, Toronto.
This is you mid-jump, by the way, telling everybody to jump.
Hell yeah. Yep. No, that was a great one. I mean, that was my first Toronto show in a long while. We had done the Axis Club before, but it's funny, like that one was, so I did the Axis Club, I think in 2022, 2023, around there. And I was doing everything on my own. I had no manager at the time. I had just separated from my last management situation. So I was stressed. I was incredibly stressed. I'm moving money around, just trying to make things work. We had a meet and greet of like 300 people. So I was like, oh no, I'm really stressed. And I still have to do an hour and a half on stage. So, and I didn't have an album out. So I'm doing like singles, you know? So it was a great show regardless. But then coming around to this show, it was like I had a whole album of music. I have a manager now who's helping me with so much of load. So now all I'm caring about is how the set sounds, which is what I always wanted to care about. I mean, I got to dress up the stage, you know, kind of give people, like, if you look on the stage, there's like a park bench there, and there's like the Cutie Pies like burger diner sign, which is, you know, just something from my world that I wanted to share with the people. But the fact that we got to creatively think about that and pay homage to Sonny's, which is a burger spot in Brampton that I grew up going to. So we got
Good
the
burgers?
spoof. Amazing burger,
Yeah,
probably
like
the best
smash
one.
burgers or like
Not smash burgers, actually, because I know there's a smash burger craze right now, but they're like charcoal, like just juicy patties.
just a perfect patty.
And yeah, like I just a lot of my teenhood and early 20s life was spent going to Sonny's, so we just wanted to like tribute that on stage. So the fact that I got to like do that. And also, again, just like a packed crowd, you know, that's always a great thing.
Look at that.
Yeah, like they were, I always tell people I have like one of the best crowds in this, because like, especially in this generation of kids that are too cool for school, it's like we built such a community that is the opposite of that. And that's why I love touring. That's why I love doing shows, because my crowd is just, you know, my homie Danny and I, who's my DJ, we're best friends. Like, that's my best friend in the world. And our bonding thing is going to concerts. So when we go to concerts, we sometimes go to these concerts of the artists that we really like, but the crowd is almost too cool, because it's like, you know, the music is cool, you know, and their brand is cool, but that can also like shape your fan base to just be like,
what was the most recent concert you guys went to?
Oh, I could not tell you. I'm not gonna lie. It was like it was definitely before tour.
Yeah, Taylor Swift?
No, definitely not, but I wish. I wish. I love her.
But
man.
like, even this, when you're seeing that, like, do you take a moment to absorb all that, kind of reflect what's going on while you're on stage?
For sure. I mean, I don't get stage fright anymore. So I think now it's just spent on like really enjoying the crowd. I take a lot of time to talk to the crowd. It's like my shows are half music, half stand-up. So we're like over there just kind of talking, interacting, being fun. And I mean, it's a ton of adrenaline too. So I'm just like, I'm really in the moment, but I always take time now to be present and be like, oh, this is happening. Cool.
And you've been doing it for so long. I'm surprised that you said, I don't get stage fright anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of disappeared. I mean, that's like the one place I feel home at, you know? That's where like nothing matters anymore, like in the negative space. Like I'm here, this is the hour and a half that I'm doing, I'm here for that. And like nothing matters. I could be going through a breakup, it's not even on my mind anymore.
You're just so focused on the stage and being present.
Yeah, because that's just, this is why I do it. You know, you make the music, you spend 3 years or 4, like at this point it was 3 years on this album. And I'm like, oh, I finally get to hear this with a crowd singing along.
That must be a feeling when they're singing your words, eh?
Yeah, oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. It'll never get old to me. I'm like, oh, this is sick. Yeah, please, you know what I mean? And just like seeing that, I think the beauty in it is, you know, just again, perspective, like throwing yourself in somebody else's shoes and being like, okay, there's a dude in here that works an office job, like, and he wakes up 6 a.m. to get to the office and works until, you know, whatever set time he has to clock out at, makes his paycheck goes to you, you know, and that's his one night that he has off, you know, where he could be himself, you know, and he could get a drink and listen to you, like, okay, like, we're gonna go hard for you. It's rewarding, and I'll never take it for granted. I make sure I don't, like, I practice that gratitude all the time.
That's a gift. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Let's do it.
What's that?
Let's go.
So I can explain this one because you don't have this. So the deal with Russell is like, Russell's been doing this so long that he actually went back and was like, I'm gonna scrub all the stuff I did before.
Yeah.
So that, because in this era of where I am, I'm focused on this. One of our producers had come to me and was like, this dude is amazing. We gotta have him on the show. And we're like, great, bring him on. He's Filipino, amazing, bring him on. And you performed as D Pride
Yep.
in the zone. And you were what, 17 here? How old do you think you were?
I had to be like 18, 19.
Probably 18, 19. The energy that you are reading from him now, imagine that, but like vertical.
Yeah.
Right? And I just remember being like, because I obviously I love hip hop music. And so I was like, oh, I could see where this guy's influences are immediately in his flow and the way he presents himself and all that. And I'm thinking it to myself, as I'm going through your photos now, the dude that's in that picture, he has yet to go through a lot of he's gone through some struggle. He's yet to go through some of the stuff that's formed who you are now. But do you see yourself now as like the ultimate expression of what you were trying to do back then?
Yeah. I think, like I said before, like a fraction of that was an act.
Yeah.
I think we're all just trying to, I think all of us have this like one version of ourselves that we're like, is like the final product. And I think I had that back then, but I really was not that. I was kind of cosplaying as it, like the final product of me. And it only took like all of my 20s to really mold into that, what that was, but in a confident space where I could actually say it was me and prove it in so many ways. Like it's a lot that I could talk about, but I do have empathy for that kid. You know what I mean? Like I do empathize with him. And I think he just really needed that validation and he really, really wanted it. But what he didn't realize is he needed to validate himself first. And I think that was the code to it. Just finally validating myself. But looking at old videos back then, especially around that time, it was like, I don't think I took that time to really like absorb things. But you know, hindsight is 20/20, right? Like being here now, it's like I can remember certain core memories and be like, yeah, that was sick. Hey, you did it. Nice, you know? Yeah. So even that day, I mean, that day especially, it was like I was running off no sleep. We were headlining shows, like I was on a tour. And yeah, it was like, you know, that was a full week of being on camera. Yeah. And I mean, that can do a lot to a kid that is in his late teens. So of course, like I guess like the weird part of that week was just like the momentum of everything and not knowing how to handle it. But I mean, at 31, again, like I said before, I love being busy.
That's a lot to take at that age. And you're talking about business. There's certain things that played in your life that caused that trauma, but was it all related to you becoming an artist?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I came out at a very weird time.
Okay. Personally.
You know, yeah, I mean, and just business-wise, like the music industry was moving from like the mixtape era to like Spotify and streaming.
Got it. Okay.
So a lot of what I was doing, I mean, especially that label run, it was like I was coming out with an album during a transitional period of everything going to streaming. So my album didn't really do too well because it was like, oh, everybody's moving to streaming now. They're not buying CDs anymore.
Right.
So it went to my cult fan base and, you know, it did well in that sense. But for what the goal was, it was like, nah, you're trying to be Justin Bieber. So it was like having to go through that, like the weird transitional period of that. And then the image, you know, having to kind of work off this image that, you know, maybe didn't grow up. You know, I had the same image since I was 17 and it was like, there was not too much growth there. Making music that I wasn't really all the way in love with, but I kind of had to listen to a bunch of like people from LA, you know what I mean? And kind of course, taking their opinions, but being a hard-headed kid. Going through a weird, you know, relationship, like at the time, like having a relationship and being 19, trying to convince another young woman that this is my job and I'm going to do this. And not many 19-year-olds do that. So it's like that I'm going through that. The pressure of, you know, I guess being on the radio and doing all these things, but, you know, financially, it wasn't like I was making $1 million, you know? just still trying to make moments and be happy and be grateful, be the most grateful I could be. But I didn't have that bone in my body yet. So having to grow up, I think that was one thing that I was missing that I took with me later on. Just enjoy the moment, be present. That's one thing therapy really taught me. No matter how much is going on, just be present.
Be present.
Be present.
Be present. Love your face, and Carlos in that photo too.
Yeah.
And I was also a lot more high energy back then too. I will also say that day, I think your whole family came.
Yeah.
That day.
Yeah, my mom was with me that day.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And they were actually like the coolest parents that had ever accompanied a young artist to the
Hell
studio
yeah.
before. It was a great day.
Iconic.
Hell yeah.
I love that photo. All right, let's go to the next one.
This is fun.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Okay, so you had just said it was years in the making.
Yeah.
And this is around the time, I guess, you're just debuting it.
Yeah,
This
Dearly
album.
Love release party. This was the night before I think it came
Yeah.
out. So we did a release party at 88 Division, or Division 88. Sorry, my bad. And yeah, my homie Jacob, who designed the cover with me, just printed like a vinyl sized
that's cool.
photo of it. That was a great day. I mean, speaking of very, different business situations, I mean, I won't get into it because I don't do that outside of an office. But what I will say is I had gone through the label system again in 2020. And it was like, it felt like, I was rebranding to an R&B artist. They gave me the funding for it. And I felt like it was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm finally gonna get to do this. Yeah, let's go. And again, don't want to talk too much on the situation, but I don't think I met the expectations that they were kind of putting onto me. So I had to kind of pivot. And I still had this album with this label. They let me have it. They let me keep it. That I had to separate from them. And that was about 2022, ish, I would say, 2 years after I had been signed. And I was like, it was the worst time to be my friend at that point. Imagine being traumatized by the industry once.
Yeah. All these triggers,
And then it happens again.
Yeah.
And you're older this time too.
Yeah.
I'm paying off an apartment, I'm paying bills, I'm a grown man. This is, you don't have mom and dad to rely on now.
Yeah.
So it was definitely traumatizing for me, and having to just settle with, the acceptance of the industry being this way still till this day. And a lot of trust issues were broken, and it was just a hard time for me. I mean, in the same week, I figured out my business situation wasn't that good. It was my mom's, birthday that week, and she wasn't around. My cat died. I was sliding in more and more into debt because, of course, I'm out of a label situation and I'm trying to pay my bills, and I stacked up a bunch of shoebox money, but that's not going to last long. So it's and all I had was this album. All I had was the album. I was like, I need to find a home for this. In order to really keep it, it might be over for me in a couple months. I might not be able to do this anymore, and I would have to get a job that doesn't require creativity, just to get by. And lo and behold, I meet Gavin from Public, and they helped me out with a deal to put the album out. And at that point, it was late 2023. So I'm like, wow, I'm 3 years in now with this album. But I just believed in it so much because I felt like it was the real reflection of me finally being packaged and put out to people in a proper way.
Right.
It wasn't just me putting it out on YouTube or something. It was a really planned, there was marketing behind it. There were people behind it really being the limbs to it, the arms and the legs, really, I guess, putting life behind it. So that day, I just remember a huge weight being lifted off my shoulders. This is what we did this for this to finally be out. We performed a couple songs for the crowd, and then just being there with everybody involved, down to the the graphic designer and my homies just being there and like looking around and being like, oh, this is what it's like to actually celebrate after 3 years of hardship. So I'm just happy that it's finally out.
Yeah.
It's like such a great reflection on how I felt that time. But you know, being a year out of it, I'm like, all right, sick. Like, let's do more. Let's do more.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good placeholder, but
Yeah.
let's elevate.
Yeah.
Great day though. Great
Yeah.
day.
I mean, having music in your life, is that therapeutic for you as well?
Yeah. Look, I mean, doing this, it's a lot of hedonism.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you meet other artists. You meet other artists and they're like, hey man, like, yo, let's go drink. Like, there's a bunch of girls here. Like, yo, you want to bump? And I'm like, I'm not that guy, bro. Like, I like talking to girls. I like being at the party. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the party. I sing about it.
Yeah.
But I will say there's like a touch of wholesomeness to me where like, I've seen all this stuff before, like when I was in the music industry at a young age. And thankfully I had a good head on my shoulders enough to be like, no to drugs. And, you know, maybe I won't go on these benders. Maybe I won't tax my body and be an idiot. Thankfully I look great. So I'm like, all right, like it's good, you know?
You look great.
But
You look great.
thank you. But it's a lot of hedonism in this industry, and a lot of why you do this could be clouded by that. If you're
Right.
partying every night, partying after the show, you're a womanizer and being this dude that like only does it for the women and for the glory of it all. But the music is what we were talking earlier. I just get high and I listen to music sometimes, and I nerd out on the instruments, being like, oh, they pan this snare drum to the left,
listening for
and
it.
there's a guitar and this in the B section of this song. I am like a true music nerd like that.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not that, it's not going to work out for you. Everybody I know that is somewhere in life is like that. And that's what I share in common with them.
Yeah.
Anybody I meet that's great is just as big of a nerd as I am. So I think I'm always be a music nerd. I think I'm always going to be curating my own taste. I'll always have a big pair of headphones on, just in another world.
Yeah.
And I actually genuinely love this.
Yeah,
I genuinely love R&B. I genuinely adore hip hop. Like it's a brother to me, like a sister, like a family member. And I'll never put it down. It's not one of those like toys that, you know, a toddler picks up and it's like a thing for a week, and, you know, and it's definitely not a cash grab for me.
Yeah.
I will do this if I had nothing.
Passion driven.
Yeah.
It's like pure passion. This is
Yeah.
like what I was born to do. And it's also what I was born to be into.
Who's your favorite art? I could ask you this too. Your favorite hip hop artist, because both of you guys are such big fans.
I would definitely say Drake. Like, I would never lie about Drake just being the number one
Your
influence.
favorite hip hop artist.
Yeah, of all time. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Drake. Favorite rapper, Jay-Z. Favorite
Yeah.
hip hop artist, like Drake.
For you being from Toronto, does that contribute to the idea that you have the freedom to be versatile in the art that you put out?
Oh,
like you
hell
don't
yeah.
have to be in one lane?
Hell yeah. I mean, Toronto in itself, it wasn't until I traveled outside of Toronto where I was way more proud to be from Toronto, because especially when you go to the States, so many things are segregated there. But being a Torontonian, and I live in Toronto now. I'm from Brampton, but my residency is in Toronto. Being from Toronto, like I said before, I mean, I have Filipino friends now, but I have Filipino friends. I got black friends. I got, you know, white friends, brown friends. I have such a great perspective on culture that when it comes down to genre switching, when it comes down to enjoying other sides of music, I think like it's a given for me to be who I am and be very proud of it and show a reflection of it in my art.
Yeah.
I love being from here. I think every artist I've met from here is so eclectic, and it's just something where I'm like, it's just my edge. And that's why I love Drake so much.
Yeah,
because
that explains it.
yeah, that's why I love Drake so much as a rapper, because he'll go out of his way to say, you know, to mention certain intersections. There's a song he just put out literally last night where he mentions Brampton, and I'm like, finally. You know, so I think being from Toronto really aided me within my musical journey, because it's so full of culture here. It's a hotbed for it
true.
all.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I tell people. It's just culture. You got to just go there and really talk to the people. Like, because a lot of these kids have parents that are, you know, immigrated from different places that have shared culture. I mean, I've had cuisine from everywhere. You know, I've greeted moms from every culture when I had to come to the house and take my shoes off, you know? So I wouldn't want to change that for the world. So one thing I really wanted to accomplish with this album was to show people it's like, yeah, we can make tribute songs like, oh, I'm Filipino, songs all day, but I'm like, let the other guys do that. Let's just make good music. Let's make good general music. Let's make songs for the club. Let's make songs people could live with. And I understand being proudly Filipino is a thing, but maybe we could do that without having to make it corny. So that's something I kind of wanted to get off. So the song I have with Ilis Moreno, who's huge over there. She's incredible. I mean, the girls in the space are killing it over there. So I wanted to make it adamant to work with a woman over there because, I mean, I make music about women. So, but I love the song I have with her because it's just so high energy and it's so great and it works in a party, it works anywhere. And just to kick off the entire project with something like that, just out the gate, you know, it's doing so well right now that I'm like, all right, sick, got a billboard. And yeah, like just kind of being within that space now, I just feel like I can tackle the rest of the world with something like that on my back now. Just, it's another thing for me to represent, like come out swinging with being from here, but also showing people my roots from back home and being like, yeah, and I got all these guys with me. You know? But yeah, I'm just so happy that it's finally coming out and
that's exciting.
That's amazing,
like it's been a year in the making. But yeah, Motherland, it's gonna be a great one.
I love that this passion for showing off the music the way that it is from where it is. Going back to what you said about like all the in-jokes about Filipinos and that kind of being what is presented to other cultures as what we do as our culture. I always equate it to like, you know, sometimes you're the kid in school and you don't have, you know, whatever you're lacking, you self-deprecate just so you can be accepted. And I feel like we're past that point now. We're ready to go. Like that's done. And now we can just start being like, you know what? We've seen examples of other cultures open the door by being unashamedly themselves and wearing their influences, their worldwide influences on their sleeve. There's North American influence everywhere, right? So now there's, you know, and you know them, you've spoken to them, you've spent time with them, we've interviewed them too. The artists that are like, yeah, why wouldn't we just be who we are? Right?
I mean, I feel like I'm a great reflection of what being, you know, a Filipino kid in North America is. I have such a diverse, fan base, but like a diverse friend base. I have a diverse outlook on life. I'm very hospitable and I like to make people feel welcome. And one thing that I really like want to promote is like the Filipino smile. We like to smile. We're like the smiling culture. We like to be happy no matter where we're at. When I was there, everybody from every walk was smiling. And that was one thing I really loved. I was like, this is home for me. Everybody's happy. And even when you're having the worst day ever, it's not like you're putting on a face for it. You're just being grateful and happy for what you have. And that's just something I really want to like, I guess, advertise to the world in terms of image. Like I smile in all my photos. I make sure I do that because it's a Filipino smile. I'm like proud to be that. I'm proud to show that. And I mean, this body of work, like I'm just so proud to put it out too, because it really shows that Filipino people, especially the Filipino artists featured on it, really can box with the greats. Like we can box with everybody else. So, and I tell everybody this, I'm not competitive. If there is a dude from the Philippines that actually speaks Tagalog from there that makes incredible music and I have some sort of way I could put my arm around them and be like, that guy's gonna be the best. And say, we're on Billboard and he gets #1 and I get #4, my job is done. That's what I want. I wanna put people on. I really want people to see that perspective of, again, like, if I could be the guy to welcome in the Filipino Bad Bunny, You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it's fulfilling to help others, right?
Yeah,
You get a
yeah.
lot of gratification from that.
Yeah, especially a guy that looks like me.
Yeah.
And or a woman. Like I would want to do that. Like I would
Yeah.
want to bring them into that space. So that's one thing I want to accomplish with this project. Just people kind of, just the visibility aspect.
man.
Yeah. You know what's so interesting? And first of all, the first thing I said to you when you walked in, I go, love your smile. So
Thank you.
I didn't even meet you yet. I was like, yeah, you have a great smile. But also the influence of music, right? Like we're seeing this new era of music, I think, like Hanuman, right? Like from India, like he's rapping. And people are shocked by it. And it's like, it's taking the influence from everywhere and bringing it together and vibing together. And I think that's what I'm so excited about this album, is to be able to bring that and shine a light on it and say, this is new music. And that it's possible to make this type of music. So I love that for you.
Yeah, and I mean, just to your point, like it's especially in that song Bro made, like he sampled 3 6 Mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't a song where he's on there just like kind of like putting so many inside jokes about his culture. It's like, no, you sampled 3 6 and like you're rapping, you know?
Yeah.
Just to show that skill, the general skill is you represent by just putting your face out there.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's what it is. And that again, that's what I want to do with this. Just have us represent out there. A lot of the music I'm listening to, I'm like, oh, this is so reminiscent of Latin music cadences and the singers on there, like really singing on there. And I have everybody from every walk of life. We got gangsters on the album. We got pop girls on the album. We got artistas and R&B artists on the album. And that just kind of, to me, like really coins my identity over there as just the guy that hangs out with everybody. And again, a great reflection of who Filipino people are. Like we're the chameleons. We hang out with everybody. Everybody wants to have this conversation about, oh, but what's your identity? Our identity is that we're cool with everybody. So you walk into any room, you're gonna find one Filipino kid in there. 100%. You know, and we're hardworking.
Yes.
We're probably the only ones in the room smiling. So, there's that too.
Right on,
You're
man.
amazing. Yeah.
Dude, I gotta say, personally, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everything that you're doing. And it's been like wild to watch you go from that young you that you described, who didn't know what was up and just wanted it, to be able to sit here and be like, I know what I want, and I want everything for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, man.
Yeah, you gotta share the glory.
Yeah.
I had a manager that I had worked with when I was 17, when things were just popping off. And I remember I had this core memory of us hanging out with my family before we had to fly to New York, and he like bought a lottery ticket. Like we were in the store and he bought a lottery ticket, and I think he won like $17 from it or something. So he like cashed it in, and I was with my sister. It was me, my sister, and my manager. And he was like, he told my sister like, and I like, oh, get a candy or something, like get something, you know? And I was like, okay, yeah, totally. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. He's like, you gotta share every win. You gotta just share it. So that's how I am. Like, no matter what I got, you gotta share the glory. Like, what? You can't be lonely at the top. What's the top isn't awesome when you're lonely. You gotta have fun. So
I feel like you're writing a song right now in your head right now. That's the title right there.
Always. But yeah, I'm down to share the wins, and camaraderie is something I'm super passionate about. I just want togetherness, because I told y'all, like, I was alone for a lot of my life. I was kind of away from the crowd, but I just love seeing a happy person. That's just one thing I love, whether it's a happy wife or a happy set of friends, happy crowd at a concert. If I'm able to aid in that happiness, I did my job.
Yeah, man.
The key to life, right?
That's
Yep.
it.
Feel that joy. Thank you so much for being here. We really
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
That was awesome,
was
man.
great.
This is awesome.
This is iconic. I
hope you had fun. Yeah.
We definitely wanted to do this, so I appreciate it.
thanks for
And
coming.
yeah, just thanks for welcoming me into your creative space.
Aw,
Of course.